This is also the first time I've set foot in a university after to attend any kind of a talk after I graduated from UW in 1998. I mean, up until a few years ago, I was still having nightmares of, skipping classes and missing final exams and not being able to graduate, So this morning, I had to check my transcripts just to make sure I did graduate and I'm not walking into some kind of trap here today. I'm a speaker at TEDx? No, you're not. Extraditing me back to Seattle. Got to finish up your math. Anything but math. That TA was weird. He was. So, I can't play you the Steve Jobs video. They said no. So I had to come up with my own stories. So I give to you today the two stories of Ace and Frank. Yes, my apologies up front. So Ace is a top student in Hong Kong. He studies hard, very good at school, listen to his teachers, so he gets good grades, and all the teachers love him, and he was able to get into a good university. And so when he graduates, he was hired at a financial bank somewhere. So it's the typical good student in his parents' eyes. Whereas Frank, basically his biggest questions for the first 15 years of his life was, so why do I have to learn this? No, seriously. Why am I remembering all the names of the kings of Tang Dynasty? How is that going to help me in my real life when I grow up? So, he asked his mom, how's this going to make me money when I grow up? Which is a tough question to answer, because, moms, they always tell you, if you don't study, you're going to end up homeless, begging for money on the streets. Implying that if you do, you won't. But then she couldn't answer that question, right? How kings of Tang Dynasty, how would they make me money? They can't answer that. Probably her answer was, stop asking stupid questions. Yeah? But, so frankly, failed in life, in school. When he graduated, he was hired by no one. So, but the point I want to make is, it takes a certain kind of personality to be creative and entrepreneurial, right? Ace is a typical person who plays the system very well. He plays within the system. But then, by definition, that means that when he wants to create something, he will want to create something that is within the system, that already exists. He can't see the errors of the system, and so he can't create something that is disruptive. Versus someone like Frank, that's all he sees. He sees, oh, this system is, why am I doing this? This system is broken, why am I doing this? So what he does when he wants to become an entrepreneur, he is more likely to be idealistic and wants to create something that is completely new and disruptive. So at this point, Ace, the story, Frank graduating, it's pretty close to where you guys are, many of you are in your college life, and I wonder, who would you rather be nowadays compared to my generation? Would you rather be Ace? Or who would rather be Ace? And who would rather be Frank? And who would rather be Rachel? Are you paying attention in class? By the way, the story of Rachel will be in your finals. So yes, I'm imagining, and this is my personal perception, like for Ace, if you fast forward 14 years, right? Ace is probably very well off. He owns his, big apartment, luxury cars, hi-fi systems. Probably has a wife that owns more handbags than all the Milan stations combined. And just to be fair, if Ace is a girl, her husband will probably own like the most expensive Canon camera and L lenses and take exquisite pictures of his lunch. But this person, to me, hasn't provided any value back to the community, to the society, right? He owns a big house, but is cut off from his community, maybe to his own family. Owns nice cars, but fail to appreciate, the oil and grease of taking something apart to fix it, or fail to appreciate the breeze on your face when you ride a bicycle in the countryside. Hi-fi systems at home, but doesn't go out to listen to live music at the local concert hall. Fail to support the local orchestra, right? How could this be someone that our parents want us to become? So Frank, as you might have guessed, is me. I'm a bad student. I haven't accomplished like the world-changing feats yet, but I'm a bad student, and I say it proudly. I'm a bad student. And I want to just share with you 3 things, important things for me personally, coming from a bad student's point of view, that helped me along my way. First of all, this is pretty bad. I'm so sorry. I'm so ill-prepared. I need to look at my notes. Can't even believe that. That was the first point and I forgot about it. Confidence. Duh. Sorry. Confidence, right? So as a child here, growing up here in Hong Kong, I had this sort of like just rootless confidence that's based on nothing. I was just being cocky for no reason. And considering that, I have bad grades, that doesn't make sense. Thinking back, last night when I was preparing the speech, I realized actually that might have been what I had to do to deal with the situation, because I had to lie to myself. I had to put on facade to tell myself that I'm not worthless, because otherwise, if I'm worthless, then there's no point for me to live. So the best thing that happened to me was I moved to America when I was 15, and all of a sudden, in high school, I could understand school, because I think the scope was a lot smaller and the pace is a lot slower, which means for the first time I was able to understand everything around the subjects that I was trying to learn, versus just a glimpse of a small part of a bigger picture that we're just supposed to memorize. And I think that's all I needed. And also all of a sudden, I was a good student, and I gained a new confidence. But still, that is not true confidence that will allow you to do whatever you want in your life. That comes a few years later in my professional life. By early 2000, I was living in New York working for Yahoo, and I was lucky enough to have a really wise manager. What happened was, very early on, I was asking questions, just figuring out what's going on here, why are we doing it this way? If this is what we're trying to achieve, we should be doing this instead, right? And I would talk to my manager, and sometimes he would agree, sometimes he would disagree, and we would argue. At one point, there was a big problem that's basically stopping the company from moving forward. But the problem is so big that it touches into 4 different departments, and so everyone just go, no, don't do it. So I did something that I'm really good at, which is, your mom tell you not to do something, and I just did it anyway, behind her backs. So that was me. And I did it. And when you've done it, people will go, wow, great, we'll help you, because you've done 90% of the job already. So to be able to do something that you see a problem, and it's a big problem, and everyone can see the same problem, but it's too hard to tackle, but you are able to do it, that changes a lot. That gives you a lot of confidence. People recognize you for that. But still, that wasn't the main event. After that, a little later, comes up again, I throw out an idea to my manager. We should do this. My manager disagreed. I argued with him a little bit. He disagreed again. Then I went, okay, all right, fine. And he said to me, Nick, don't be afraid to argue with me, because you know you're right. You've done it before. If you know you're right, don't be afraid to argue with me, right? You've proved me wrong before, so keep arguing. And I just woke up. I was, wow, all these years of education in Hong Kong, right? Even though I was such a rebel and I hated the system and I fight against it and I kick it in its teeth, still, deep down inside, I was a submissive little Asian, right? And it just clicked. It just completely changed my mind. So from that point on, no matter how bad the situation is, I had the confidence to believe in myself that I can do whatever I want to do. And I think that is true confidence that you need to succeed. Okay. So second is conviction. Conviction and perseverance. You need conviction to follow your dreams, especially if you are the kind of person who sees the error in the systems and you want to create something new to disrupt it, to change it. Because by definition, you are creating something that is new, that people don't know and probably don't understand, which means when you tell people, most of them will tell you, no, it's not going to work. I don't want it. So, and this ties back to having confidence, to truly believe in yourself, right? So, a funny story is that after this, in 2010, I was working for a crowdsourced design company called Kuso in Tokyo for their project with Lego. We're trying to create their crowdsourced user crowdsourced product design for Lego so that anyone can create Lego, official ones. And the managers, if you don't know, Japanese management make the decisions up top and then trickle down that decision to you guys, to the employees, and give you a task of what to do. And when my manager gave me my task, I was like, okay, this makes sense, okay. And this one is pointless. This one doesn't make sense. I'm not going to do it. And he was like, he just doesn't get that concept at all. So I will never forget his face during the biannual review when he told me, Nick, I'm sorry, but you couldn't do some of the things that we asked you to do, so you got a low grade. And I'm like, yeah, and I told you already. And it's not like I couldn't, it's I wouldn't. I told you I wouldn't do it. Instead, I did something that I deemed is meaningful to the company, and ultimately it is. And yeah, he told me, I understand it's very hard to do, but please do it anyway. I just couldn't get through to him. I said, no, it's not hard to do at all. I could just sit here and do that easy task. It's very easy. It's just that it's pointless. That's why I don't do it. And so having conviction and confidence allows you to follow what you think is meaningful, right? Your decision, rather than submitting and doing some pointless task that will just lead you down the road. Because if you submit once, it's only going down. Finally, it's openness. Openness and business and entrepreneurial business ideas. Huh? Most people, when they talk about business ideas, they'll say, oh, if you have a good business idea, don't tell anyone, keep it a secret. Because if you tell people, they will steal it, right? Not true. And I've openly talked about my business ideas all the time. And the most frequent response I got was, "Your ideas suck." That's what you'll get, most likely. Well, maybe my ideas suck, I don't know. But the point is, the benefits of openness is, you meet most of the people who will tell you your ideas suck, but then you'll meet some people who will give you good feedback. And then, on the rare chance, you actually meet some potential comrades. If you are passionate enough about your ideas, something that is world-changing, you will meet other similar-minded people that will join you on your quest. And then you guys will become friends, and you will work together to build this.